everybody, welcome back to my kitchen. Paula here, and this is my channel, The Flavorful Home. If you're new, I welcome you and I hope you'll consider subscribing. We do a lot of fun things here, from baking, cooking, crafting, so you'll find a lot of different ideas and treats on my channel. Today I am making my go-to bread. It's a honey wheat bread. I will sometimes make my white slice, but the majority, I would say 99% of the time, this is my sliced bread recipe. The original author of the recipe is Noreen. I followed Heather from the Kneady Homesteader for it, and that's who she credited in her video. So she did hers by hand to show people how to knead by hand. I have my KitchenAid here. I'm not even going to bother with that because my hands kill me. So I very rarely knead anything by hand except in very small amounts if necessary. Okay, let's get started. You start, one tip, I always do it. I fill my bowl with hot water just to heat it up. But we have 2 cups of warm water, not too hot. You don't want to kill your yeast. Some recipes will say 120, but I usually do somewhere between 90 and 105. You're going to put, let me just look real quick, I believe it's 2 tablespoons. 1 tablespoon of yeast. I use instant yeast. You don't have to. You could use regular yeast. It's fine if you use regular yeast. I used that for years, but so many of the bread recipes use the saf. I just started buying that. And then you're going to put, and here's a little trick, a half a cup of vegetable oil. If your recipe calls for honey, but you need an oil first, put the oil in the measuring cup, because then when you go to put your honey in, and that was a half a cup of oil, and now we're going to do a half a cup of vegetable honey, I will show you. You're not going to have to deal with any nonsense of getting it to come out, because the oil coats the measuring cup. Look at that. It's just got that little bead at the bottom, and we got that right in there. So we got our 2 cups of warm water, half a cup of veggie oil or canola, a half a cup of honey. And now in this container here, we have 3 cups of wheat flour, 3 cups of all-purpose flour, a 1/4 cup of potato flakes, and a 1/4 cup of dry powdered milk. I have whole milk in mine. I get the Hoosier Farms from Amazon. I get their milk, their buttermilk, their clear gel for canning. Hoosier Farms is great. So you have a total of 6 cups, half wheat, half all-purpose, the 1/4 cup of potato flakes, which makes a very moist bread, and the 1/4 cup of the milk, the dry milk powder. And this bread is wonderfully moist. It's soft, tender. It's delicious, and it just has, it's not a heavy sweetness. Just because it's the honey, it's not like, oh, overpowering. Okay, well, that went in. I'll put my dough hook on. What you're looking for is it to pull from the sides. Once it starts pulling, then you time your kneading. But let's get going so you can see. And I have the KitchenAid. I do it on number 2. we're going to add our salt. It is a tablespoon of salt. Salt can kill your yeast, so you don't want to add your salt onto your yeast. And now it'll just all come together. And you'll know if it's going to need more flour. If it does, you add it a scant table to 2 tablespoons at a time. You can tell by sight and by touch. If it's tacky, isn't bad, but sticky, you do not want. And I'm going to touch it, and you can see it is actually pulling away. I'm going to touch it just to see. Oh, it feels, I mean, it's not even sticking to my hand, and it feels wonderful. So I'm going to let this continue to knead for about 6 minutes, and then we'll come back and see how it looks. Okay, you could see that bowl is clean, and I'll just go slow. That is beautiful, beautiful. We're going to take it down. And I'm going to move it over and show you the next step. We're going to give it a little bit of hand kneading, and I'll show you what I mean before we put it under for an hour. We'll be back in a second. Okay, I pull it out, and I just do this just a couple of times. It kneaded for 6 minutes in the machine, so it really doesn't need anything else. I squish it up, and I get my bowl. I have my olive oil spray. I give a little hit, and I go top down, give it a spin, and flip it over. Now we'll put some plastic wrap on it. And in an hour, it'll double. Okay, babe. And we'll come back to the next step. Let me just get this on and show you. And you put it in a draft-free, warm spot. And there you go. See you in an hour. Alrighty, we are back. And this is how much it's grown. And so you just want to, you don't really need to punch it. I know some people say, oh, I get my aggressions out with my bread. But I just, you hear that? I just push it down and let the air come out. I don't do any crazy punching. And then I put it on my counter. I'm going to just lift you a little. This is my Pullman pan, or pan de mie pan. And it does have a cover. I don't use the cover. As a matter of fact, almost never do I use the cover. If you use the cover, you get a perfect square baked sandwich bread. But I let mine rise up. This is the 13-inch. And I got it off of Amazon, and I just love it. But we're going to just flatten your bread out. Let me just turn you a little bit. And it's not a full wheat because there is that 3 cups of all-purpose. It is light. And you don't have to spray any a baking spray or oil the pan. You give it a couple of minutes to cool and it pops right out. And then you roll it to try and want it on the tight side when you roll it. And then make sure you can see. I pinch right down the line. Pinch, pinch, pinch. Close up those ends. Then I just give it a little rolling. Make sure it's nice and even. Pan back, and in it goes. Kind of tuck it under on this side, and I press down. Get it nice. Friends, for the longest time, the only dough I'd make was pizza dough, because I don't know what I was doing wrong. Anytime I tried to make bread, it wouldn't rise. And then 2020 hit, and that June, my friend shared some baguettes on Facebook, and I said, you know what, the heck with this, I'm giving it a shot. And I haven't looked back. I do not buy bread in the store. I make it all. You give it I just cover it with the plastic wrap that was on the mixing bowl, and you let it rise for about another 30 minutes. I have my oven preheating at 350 right now, and we'll come back. It's going to, before it gets in the oven, it's going to get brushed with some melted butter, and we'll come back in 30 minutes. Alrighty, friends, it's been 30 minutes and it's come up a little bit more. I just give it a little brushing with some melted butter. Get it coated nice. This just gives it a nice shiny top, and you're going to hit it again with the melted butter when it comes out. And it's going to cook at 350. Let me just get the exact time. I don't follow that time because my oven is just so different. It's 45 minutes. I put it in, I give it 25, I turn it, give it another 20, and then I start testing it with my thermometer. So let's get this in the oven. I'm gonna actually lift you up a little so that you could see my little oven. I put it in my, those are my yummy pineapple jam jars there. I'm gonna turn you down. I use my side oven for it. I know a lot of you look at this oven and go, oh, that's an oven. Don't go with LV ever. It's a beautiful disaster. And it's European style, so I tell you all the time, I can only fit up to a 15-inch pan in there. I'm just gonna move this, wrap it down one. I will say this oven has the rotisserie. I haven't used it yet, and I need to. I've never had a rotisserie chicken on my own, made by me. Okay, so we got it in there. Nice. And I will set my timer. When it's all finished, I will show you how beautiful it looks. Okay, 25 minutes is up. I am going to take it out and turn it around. What I want to see. Look how beautiful that loaf is, and it's expanding beautiful. I'll just flip it. There it goes. And now I will do 20. And after 20 minutes, I will check its internal temperature. If it's at 190, 192, I know it's done. If it's not, I will foil tent it and continue in 3 to 4 minute increments. Okay, see you in just a couple of seconds. Okay, so we're taking it out. I'm just gonna poke it with my thermometer and see where it's at. I'm gonna see if I could. Yep, 192. I'll bring you in, I'll dip it again so that, zoom you in. Perfect. That's a done loaf of bread. Now I will put it on the rack just to cool for a couple of minutes. And then I will pop it right out of its pan. I will come back and show you this beautiful loaf of bread popped out of the pan. And then I will put the butter, the melted butter on top after it comes out. See you in a second. All right, friends, I have popped it out. It is soft. Oh, so lovely. I find if you just wait a little bit, it comes out of the pan without any issue. And I really get that butter all in there. And yes, it expands like this. This is fine. It's not a big deal. I love getting that nice and buttery top. When I was a kid, my mother would send us to the grocery store. We lived in Brooklyn, and it was called Super Duper. It was right around the corner. And she would give us the shopping list, and it would be, get the home fried bread. It's the split top with the butter. That butter on it is just so nice. And it gives it that nice shine. And there you go. I don't cut it yet. It's good to give it a minimum 20. And it smells like heaven. It really does. So I'm going to come back and give you a peek. And I'm going to slather it with my Kerrygold Irish butter. I love that stuff. I'm going to put it in my butter bell. We'll be back when it's ready to be sliced and show you just how lovely it is. See you in a minute. That's a nice piece of bread. The interior is beautiful. Oh, that's good. Butter. Of course. I put my Irish butter in there. Okay, friends, it's go time. light, soft. I had a take two. This Irish butter is delicious. I have a confession. I don't know if anyone else does this, but I eat butter by the chunk. Couldn't help it. Friends, it's not hard to make this. I will link both the Kneady Homesteader and Noreen, since Noreen is the one who actually is the author of the recipe. I just use whole wheat flour. I didn't buy any special whole wheat. I think it was gold medal whole wheat, and just all purpose. You don't need to go crazy, and it works fine. Oh gosh, the interior is beautiful. You can bake bread, I promise you. Just give it one shot and you will be transported to a better place. Thank you for visiting me. I hope you'll give it a try. I hope you'll come back again. Get in there and create something wonderful. Till next time, thanks for watching.